Hey. Oh, this is some real scary stuff. Holler Scream, The Dark Side. Not really. Let me tell you what's some real scary stuff, at least for me. Textbooks, that's number one. This is one for our non-majors class, but it could be like any textbook. What's scary is you guys are spending like $150, $250, $300, $400 for books, and you don't use them. I mean, help me out on that. I don't understand it, okay? And then you don't put your name in it or any contact information, and you leave them in the auditorium. So you might as well have gift wrapped them, okay? So here's what I want to help you with. If you spend the money for the textbook, let's use it. So I'm going to show you a few things to help you use it, so it won't be so scary, okay? One is most textbooks have a first part in the chapter that gives an overview of what has occurred, that's going to take place, okay? And then it'll have maybe chapter concepts and the main points. Some will even go so far as to say by the end of this chapter you should be able to, okay? And that helps you to know where you're going. The first part of the book too, when it talks about the authors, that's worth reading. Right now I'm about the chapters. The other is, once you read the overview for the chapter and the guidelines and what you should accomplish, turn to the back of the chapter, okay? And what you do is look at the self-quiz tests or questions, or for chemistry, let's say problems. I'm trying to get this right so you can see it. So that's a self-quiz, and it'll have so many questions. So what you do is look at the questions and think about them, so that when you read the chapter, you can say, hey, there was a question about that, and it'll help you, okay? Some textbooks will put the page number by the questions, and this is something you could do if it doesn't, okay? This book also has a summary. Trying to get it for you. Oops, wrong side. Oh, it's on this side. Sorry, my bad. It has a chapter summary. Well, I'm sorry it was a little bit blurry, but I think you know what I mean. What it's going to do is go over in short form what the chapter is about. Read the chapter summary and you'll have a capsule of the entire chapter. Put that with the questions and then you're ready to go read the chapter, which is the third thing you do. When you read the book, you're not reading a novel, okay? And the book is going to have sections, as you know. So what you do is just read it in sections and understand it and think about the questions, and then you will do a lot better, okay? The other is a technique that a friend of mine used to use. He was a middle school teacher, but it's applicable anywhere, and I have done it in class, is take the different section titles and turn them into questions, because as the brain works, as you're looking and answering questions, then you take the information and it's going somewhere. So this one is on the first one, the nature of science, okay? The nature of science. I talk about that all the time. So what could you turn a title that says the nature of science into? Think about that. What is the nature of science? Why is it important? Who started it? What does it mean? So as you get these questions, as you read, you'll be trying to answer the question. So it's not a bad technique. Another is, within your book, it'll say figure 1, figure 2. I don't know, you see that? Figures are charts and tables and things like this, okay? And there will be pictures. So when you see a table, a chart, a figure, and it's in the text, at that point, go look at the chart, table, or figure, because it's put there to give you a visual to enhance the learning, okay? The persons that put textbooks together, it's a craft and they know what they're doing. Then what they'll do sometimes in books, they'll put a page that's just interesting stuff. I don't know. Can you see that? I really apologize. Okay? They call it, this one, biology in the news. Poison debate. In circles, a microbes studies results. Okay? So this is a particular page. It's like a special feature. All right? And what it does is it helps you to connect what you're studying to the real world. This book also has a little section called concept checks within the text, all right? So reading the book is really, really awesome. The better textbooks have references. All of them will have references. Some are embedded in the chapter, and some are at the back of the chapter, and some are at the back of the book. So what you want to do is read some of those, okay? Now, here are a couple of things to tell you. That's scary. Ooh, so use that textbook. Write your name in it, so when I find them, we can get them back to you. And, you know, you're not reading a novel. The other is as a concept that's called fatalism. And as I talk to students, they seem a little bit fatalistic, and that can happen. That means whatever, you just believe whatever's happening to you is what's happening. If you're not making good grades, well, you know, that's just how it is. That's not true. You have a lot of control over what happens with you, okay? The other is a concept that came out of the 70s called learned helplessness. What will happen is, it's applicable to humans. It was done with animals. If they are put in a situation where they cannot achieve, escape, or do something they want to do, then later on they don't even try. Okay, so some of you may have come out of high school not honor students in science and math, but you are an honor student. It's there inside of you, and what you have to do is work at it. Now, you're on what's called fall break, which is the first time for Norfolk State. We have a spring break that's a week long, but now you have a fall break that's 2 days plus a weekend. Okay, you have all of today. All right, day has 24 hours. So what you need to do is really rip it up and study like you've never studied before. If you are still in your classes now, and last Friday the 11th, you know, sunset, and you didn't drop your classes, you're in for the ride now. So you might as well make the best of it. All right. You have tomorrow. Tomorrow's all day. So study like you've never studied before. The library here is open, and there are limited hours, as well as I'm in Wood Science Building. It's open. You can come over here and study and use laboratories and study. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to take control of your life, be empowered, and you can do it. All right. Executive function of the brain. That's something that's important, and I have a little word here for you for today for lunchtime. It's called metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. Very often students study, they go to class, but they don't realize that they haven't learned it because they're only learning it, say like, okay, I think I'm going to get this on the test, so therefore I remember it. The other is affective domain, and that's how you feel about your work. Cognitive domain is just remembering the information, but affective domain is how you feel about it. So anyway, it's not really scary stuff. You can take charge, and Busch Gardens is really